the things that you mentioned, but also at the end of it all, I just keep walking around these days saying, I'm really a person. I'm really underneath it all. I guess we're all just humans. We're all just people craving the warmth and love and affection and care, wanting life to be fair, wanting to be seen and for who we truly are. I think that's who I am. That's my essence. That's my core. So yes, it's the mom box. We tick the entrepreneurship box. We take the fearless, the warrior, and through it all, I think I'd like to be known. I'd like my journey to be known more than all the labels that we kind of attach to ourselves. And I think society is very keen on sticking labels on us, but actually we need to define the journey and respect it, acknowledge it, honor it every day of our lives. So yeah, that's who I am. I think women are generally warriors. We worry about everything. We are born, and from a very young age, if you look at your life and you start to really think hard and you start to realize, how young was I when I started to worry? And it's almost like we can even go through phases of our lives where we can shut out the world just so we can connect with our own thoughts. And worrying is like a nagging child. It will take all your time, your energy, your focus, and we shut everything out so we can just connect constantly with worry. And for me, the real warrior who is the person who actually overcomes the worry and puts that worry in its little box and becomes the warrior, from learning how to actually master it, to own it, to actually constantly, and it's not just a process you go through at one phase in your life, it's through every stage of your life. In every day, you are going to have to master that worry, the worry kind of, the habit of being a warrior, and become the warrior where you are victorious and you conquer it. And that's where true power lies, is in, you'll always have the worry and you can become the warrior, but how do you do it? It's what you do in between. I think it's from very traditional an upbringing where I was talking about the worry earlier, is that I constantly worried. I worried about my future, and I didn't start worrying when I was in high school. I started worrying about it when I was in nursery school, almost at a very young age. And what I identified when I look back on my life is that whatever life has thrown me, I've overcome it, I've survived it, I've achieved. And what's so important and so almost so strange is that when I look at it, and the turning points in my life have never been at happy moments where life was perfect and I had an option of taking a different direction. I basically had no choice. But through all of that, the darkness, the real darkness that life can sometimes show us, is that I've been shining most brightly during those times. I think there's something about women when they are placed in extreme circumstances, that if they can just stop for a minute, block out the noise, and just shine your way through it. And nobody can do that for you. It's something that comes from within. I think mastery over my personal life and my emotion. I think because we are all, no matter how hardcore you can be in a business, we are all ruled by our emotions. And as an entrepreneur, we look for success in entrepreneurship, but you will never have success in your life unless you master your emotion, because we are fueled by emotion. So I've gone through various things in my life that have kind of shaped me. And I think what happens is there are extreme circumstances that don't just shape people, but it causes an almost what I describe as the mutation. Because you stop one day and you think hey, I wasn't this person 10 years ago, but now I am. We mutate. And mutation is how superheroes come about. It's a mutation. It's an experiment gone wrong. They've been exposed to something that they shouldn't have been exposed to. And we all, as humans, have been exposed to things we shouldn't have been exposed to as children, as teenagers, as adults. I don't feel afraid to say I come from a home where there was domestic violence. It kind of plagued our home. There was poverty. I've grown into a life where from a very young age I was subjected to sexual harassment, to abuse, and that's a circle that will just repeat all the time unless we go through a phase or a process where we master our emotion and we learn to say no, and we stop looking outside for people and things to fix us, where we actually start to fix ourselves so we don't actually invite those things into our lives. So I think it's a long journey. I was a bit worried about getting emotional during this interview, but it's a very, very long journey. Yes. Let's call myself the emotional crusader.
I like that.
I don't know, it just came to me because I'm kind of leading the charge. I'm trying to. One of the things I've realized that has really held me back in my life is if I said to somebody, I'm having a really bad day, and they'd be like, don't have a bad day, don't feel like that, don't think that way, because look at everything that you have, look at everything that you've achieved. And I feel like it's the baby rattle that's being waved in your face to distract you from feeling your own feeling. And I've been saying to people and convincing them and trying to encourage them to just feel the feeling. If you're feeling bad, it's because, and if something from your past, someone said to me, oh, that happened 20 years ago, it doesn't matter anymore. In every cell of your body, that experience lives and it will never be forgotten. And here we are trying to plug the hole by saying, hey, let's buy a car, let's buy a house, let's do this, let me excel in my career. We do all the things that we can do from a superficial level, but we are not healing. And I cannot experience the success or the achievement that I have if I haven't gone back to a point, or I shouldn't say if I haven't gone back to a point where it was where I healed, because I realized from achieving so much, I just felt so empty. So it didn't really it wasn't all that it was made out to be, because I'd still go to bed at night feeling huge holes and craters in my soul. And that was because there was just so much that needed to heal. And I constantly distracted myself. The right relationships, the right car, material possessions. And we all go through this. I'm not a materialistic person, but when I'm trying to fill a hole, I will buy those shoes. I will buy a few pairs and I will hit them all hard and I will go on a holiday. But nothing works. And we can't be spoken or talked out of feeling our feelings any longer, because the moment you do actually address that, let yourself mourn, let yourself not be distracted and heal, you'll find that the everyday things that you've taken for granted or don't have meaning anymore will start to have a lot of meaning. So there's nothing out there for you more like material stuff that's going to fix you. It's all going to come back from you looking deep and hard, soul searching, going back to what started your mutation and fixing it. Oh, wow. I don't think we're born with the characteristics. I think we develop them. I don't think any of us are born brave. I think bravery is often confused with desperation. Because when we as women have nothing left to lose, that's when we give up our best. We give things our all because we have no other choice. It's the last chance. So I think none of us are really born to be warriors, but we all become warriors as we go through life. And we pick up our bag of essentials and our weapons as we go along. And for me, that's the emotional strength. For me, that's stepping away from a very material life and looking beyond. But we pick up courage, we pick up bravery, we pick up compassion and kindness. We pick up a bag of love somewhere along the way, because at the end of the day, it's all of those things. And I can't say that you can go out and get them all at one go. Every hardship, every challenge, every joy in your life will earn you your little star or your little badge. It's like you're a scout in life. So you earn your scout badges and off you go. So that's what I really think. I think if you I mean, who's not on social media? Everybody is, but there's a huge shift in energy, and everything that was normal and acceptable before has become abnormal and unacceptable. A lot of abuse. Abuse is not getting smacked. Abuse is not having your face punched. It's an emotional abuse. It's financial abuse. It's abuse in the workplace. It's bullying. I think we are now a race of bullied people. Everyone gets bullied at any stage, from the elderly to the young to school kids to, we used to think that bullying happened in a school ground. No, it happens in relationships, it happens in the workplace, it happens in a supermarket. I think it's more than ever, we're going to have to step up and learn to put our own boundaries in place and say no, because we cannot allow abuse to perpetuate on any level, because it's a sign, it's a change, there's a new consciousness, and we can't allow the old to become the standard anymore. You know, the thing is that to get through, you're not necessarily going to have to push through, but it's how you end up on the other side that really matters. So you can end up on the other side battered and bruised, or you could come out a survivor. You're going to have your wounds and your scars either way, but you need to decide to be the warrior. You need to decide to be, you're either going to win it or you're going to lose it. You're going to get to the other side. Are you going to be a prisoner on the other side? Are you going to be captive or held captive? Or are you going to be set free? And every situation, there's two choices. I'm either going to be the prisoner or I'm going to be a winner. And for me, there's no choice. I'm going to be the winner. Oh, wow. There are so many people that inspire me. I take inspiration from, I'm not a person who says, there's a TV celebrity that I find amazing. But for me, it's, I have a lady who works for me and she's been with me for 15 years. And when I'm really, really down, she'll come to me and she'll remind me of all the things that are really important. And she's the one who has incredible strength and faith and who will ground me. I take things from different places. I mean, I always say that my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, that is, she had the gift of giving pure, true love. And at some point, I took that love for granted. And I just thought, Granny's love is Granny's love, whatever. And when I gave that love the recognition and the honor and respect it deserved, I realized that if people can't love me the way she did, then I'm not getting into this. She was the example who, she was a woman without an education, but every day I'd come home from school and she'd be reading the newspaper, slowly and a couple of times from cover to cover, from page 1 to the back page. But she was resilient and she was determined, but she knew how to love. And when I realized that that love was an example in which I needed to live my life by an honor, I realized that it was so powerful because she taught me, that love taught me what I shouldn't accept and what I shouldn't just let slide. I should stand up and say, no, this is not the way I want to be loved. And I know a different kind of love that's real and pure. So I take that from her, and she was a real warrior. She could draw a house plan with a pen and pencil or pencil and paper, and she could just do things beautifully. I learned to cook, bake, sew, draw, sketch, paint from her. So although she had no education, she was a giver. And in her own quiet way, she was petite and quiet and gentle, but she was fierce in her determination. And I think she's the one person that like just shines bright, and I'll always carry her. And I always say to people that if you've experienced my love and kindness, you're experiencing her. So, but there's friends, there's people who work in my team. There's my daughter who's just amazing and an incredible support. And people say, parents sacrifice for their children, but I think my children also sacrifice to be my kids, because I do so much and I'm always busy and running around, and they're very forgiving. So I've learned to be forgiving, because as you get older, you get a little more set in your ways and a bit of a dragon. And they've taught me, I look at them sometimes and I said, I think I should just do a tanvi now and just be that forgiving person who's like practicing the understanding and the forgiving, compassionate side. So I learn from all over the show. I learn from everyone. There's always something you can learn from people.